The 1994 Imola Grand Prix kind of goes down as one of the darkest weekends in motorsport, with the deaths of Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna, your teammate. What do you remember about that weekend, you know?
Well, there was an awful lot of tension in the air before we even got there, because Ayrton actually hadn't finished a race. He'd spun off in Brazil, and then he'd got biffed by Häkkinen, I think, in Japan. So he hadn't got his scores on the board yet.
And Michael
Michael won everything.
Yeah.
And so this was all a bit of a shock to the system, because we couldn't understand how they'd come from nowhere. Especially as we dominated the year before with the Williams and Alain Prost in that the active car. So we came into, I think Ayrton's was a bit out of water. You know, he'd come from his team that he'd been with for so long. He'd come to a new team. He'd never done that before. Getting to know people. So I think he felt uncertain, and the press were piling it on, because, you know, they said, this is make or break, isn't it? You know, you've got to win this one because you haven't got any points yet. And Michael's won 2. And so I think there was all sorts of doubts in his mind, and I think that it was tense before we even got there.
Do you remember your last conversation with Ayrton?
No, not really. I mean, I did some stuff with him in the morning, because there was a PR thing we had to do, and also the driver meeting, which used to be on the Sunday morning before the warm-up? Yeah. I knew that he had been affected badly by Roland, what happened the day before. I didn't really get too intrusive.
Well, I think I heard something about in his car, he had a flag.
I heard that too, that he was going to...
It was an Austrian flag.
Yeah, so his idea, I think, from that, I don't know if this is true, but I have read that. So the thought was, if he wins a race, then he'd
hold the flag.
Yeah, he'd express his feelings that way, which would have been a nice touch, but sadly we never got that far.
Rank these 4 F1 drivers in order.
Yeah.
Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen.
I think it's very difficult to actually just make an order. You have to have a criteria next to that for what, you know, what person, in what way are they better than the others, and that's sheer speed. Ayrton, unbelievable natural talent, just innate natural talent is Lewis.
Do you not put Max down to natural talent?
Max has got natural talent, and he's got very few weak spots as well. Michael was someone who he built himself. I think he just became a machine, you know, to a winning machine, and through hard work and knowledge. And that can be said of Max as well. And I'm not saying the others didn't work hard; they work hard as well. I mean, they're different. It's like saying what's better, blue, green, or yellow. You know?
I know, they're all.
I don't know.
I mean, these are arguably the 4 best of all time. You could probably